All right, what's going on, and welcome to what we hope is your favorite sports talk radio program. And lucky for you, probably the only show right now not talking about some stupid player, maybe pushing some stupid owner, and should there be some stupid suspension. Nah, man, we're talking future non-conference football philosophies right here in Boise, Idaho. We're Prater on the ball game. This is Idaho Sports Talk and Prater. This hour, we have another round of Cloverdale Plumbing touchdowns for tickets, hoping to get a season ticket winner to Boise State football this week, and Idaho Steelhead hockey playoff tickets for Wednesday as well. That's just this hour, and we're doing it all week.
Love it. I love it all week. And the whole month. We're just going to give away so many tickets. We're going to have to get JP a new phone. He's going to burn up this phone. He's getting 100 phone calls a day. Let's keep it going. I love it.
Sorry, JP.
Sorry, I've already sprained my finger.
This is like the 1 week JP wakes up in the morning is kind of like, maybe I don't need to go to work today. Every other week, we love this gig. No one wakes up in sports talk radio and says, I don't want to go to work today. You just don't do it.
No.
You say that about other aspects in your life. I don't want to work in the yard today. But I never say I don't want to go to work. This is my sanctuary, Prater. This gets me away from everything I don't love.
Nice. Love it. Love it.
Kidding. All right, let's get into this before we give you an opportunity to win all this stuff. Boise State has a non-conference scheduling philosophy. Jeremiah Dickey talked about this. We're almost coming up on 2 years since he had his statements. There was a press release on it. That's when everything went down with the Husky situation and the Michigan State situation, Prater. But before we get into that, and if this philosophy still makes sense during the current landscape of college football, kind of starts with a nugget that's going on in the southern parts of this country right now.
Yeah, it's off-season football, college football off-season time, and scheduling news always comes out, this time of year in the summer. I don't anticipate anything, and we haven't heard from Jeremiah Dickey, and I did misspeak in the last segment. That press release was 2 years ago, July of 2001, not July of 2022. So, it's been 2 years since we've heard any kind of real news out of Boise State. And, my beat writing radar tells me that something's kind of brewing out there right now. Something might happen this summer in terms of decisions. And we all know that college football is changing in 2024 with the college football playoff, and everybody's jockeying for position there. That's what's happening right now in the SEC, and maybe even to a lesser extent in the Big 12. And what's going on with those two conferences is going to directly impact Boise State scheduling and everybody's scheduling moving forward. The SEC is meeting this week. I believe it's their athletic director spring meetings. I don't know if any decision is going to come out this week, but the SEC is debating whether to go to play either 8 or 9 conference games. The Big 12 is trying to decide whether to play 8 or 9 conference games. And if the SEC decides to bump up to 9, or if the Big 12 decides to go to 8, or whatever they want to do, there will be a trickle-down effect in terms of non-conference scheduling. That will dramatically affect the pool. So, all the people out there playing the scheduling game, from what I've been told and the sources I talked to today, kind of laying low right now, waiting for, first of all, the SEC to make a decision. And it looks like the momentum is going for the SEC to go to a 9th game and to give that multi-billion-dollar television product better games,
keep it in the conference,
keep it in the conference, better product, better inventory, all that kind of stuff. I think the SEC is going to go to 9 games. So that will change everything, probably open up some possibilities for, lower level, like maybe the Mountain West, and we'll see how that trickle-down effect is. The Big 8 or the Big 12 deciding whether they want to play 8 or go to 9 or vice versa. We're going to have a lot of stuff to figure out about that as well. Bottom line here, how does this impact Boise State and their non-conference schedule, which on paper right now is fairly set for the next 3 seasons? This year, for sure. 2024, we think. 2025, maybe. We'll see how it shakes out. But here is the press release from July of 2001, where 21, where Jeremiah Dickey said, "Our schedule is difficult and competitive moving forward, and Coach Avalos and I are aligned in our scheduling philosophy. And today's announcement," you remember where he did the Michigan State thing, blah, 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 "represents several steps that will give us how we want to move forward looking at our schedule." He wants non-conference games against a Power 5 opponent, a Group of 5 opponent, an FCS opponent. We like to call that small, medium, and large around here. But this press release also talks about BYU. So we know it's automatically affected that. BYU is gone. BYU is out the window. The scheduling philosophy has changed since the last time Jeremiah Dickey spoke. BYU is out the window.
Yep.
Here comes the SEC, maybe giving more inventory. Here comes the Big 12, maybe taking away some inventory. But Boise State, Power 5 opponent, a Group of 5 opponent, and an FCS opponent. I think that's the standard moving forward. Unfortunately for BSU, they play 1, 2, 5. I think they play 7 or 8 Power 5 opponents over the next 3 seasons, not just one. They play 2 this year. They're going to play 3 in 2024. They're going to play 2 in 2025. They got Oregon on the road in 2026. So there's a lot of non-conference games, or a lot of Power 5 opponents out there. Jeremiah Dickey on the record, 1 Power 5 opponent a year. They got 2 this year, 3 next year, 2 after that. What's Jeremiah Dickey going to do? Is he going to eliminate some of these games? Is he going to get rid of an Oregon State, or a Houston, or a UCF? How's he going to handle that? And what is he going to do in terms of other schedules? Who's going to replace BYU? We're going to talk a lot about scheduling philosophy in this segment. And we're also working with Jeremiah Dickey here over these next couple of weeks. We're going to try to get him in the studio. He's agreed to do it. We're working on dates. And we're going to bring him in here and just nail him on all these different kinds of subjects, especially the Boise State football schedule. We think that that's one of the most important decisions looming for this program.
What do you guys want to see on this? Again, the philosophy, whether Jeremiah Dickey likes it or not, we're all bummed about it. BYU is off this schedule. Jeremiah Dickey's scheduling philosophy, as my partner said, was basically small, medium, and large, and then BYU. Well, BYU's not on it anymore. Do you want to use that extra piece in your schedule now, replacing BYU with what? You want Lollygag Tech? You want Yahoo Community College? I don't know, wherever. Or do you want to go big? You want to go medium? You want to go, where do you want to go? Bronco Nation, 208-424-9300.
I think the most important thing moving forward, the scheduling. Jeremiah, I hope you're listening, and you're not because you're way too smart. Write this down and put this quote in your next press release. We're going to do everything we possibly can to maximize our opportunities to get into the college football playoff. We have been awarded a wonderful opportunity, and Boise State has positioned itself over a history of time to be the top Group of 5 team, and we're going to build a schedule that's going to complement that. Unfortunately for fans, that doesn't mean a lot of sexy opponents. And I don't blame Jeremiah Dickey. I need 1 Power 5 opponent. And hopefully every 2 or 3 years you can get one of those into Albertson stadiums. But they're going to have to go on the road and play a Power 5 opponent for the most part every single year. The Group of 5 stuff, you can go back and forth on that. The FCS stuff just fills a date. I don't think you can add a second Power 5 opponent moving forward because you're going to have to win your conference. You're going to have to win these games. You cannot lose more than 1, maybe 2 games to get into this tournament. And we'll see how it all shakes out. But I think that they have to be more careful than risky moving forward because that's what's going to get you into the college football playoff.
All right. What do you guys want to see? John, you're first up on this. John, you got an extra game coming on this schedule. Jeremiah Dickey's schedule philosophy. What would you like to see Jeremiah Dickey in this football program do?
I want to see us keep scheduling big name teams, like a Georgia or Oregon, Washington, maybe even Tennessee, things that'll get us more on bigger stage TV so that there's more people watching and, it'll get higher recruits that might want to come here because we are playing those bigger teams.
Would you rather play those?
I want to see.
Would you rather play those in September, or would you rather play a safe game and then play that championship game, that playoff game late in the season? If you're playing Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, you're not going to the college football playoff tournament.
No, you're not. But, I would rather see those early season games like that because, every team in September is still figuring their team out and who goes where, who's going to play what. And so, I think it would give us a little bit more, advantage, if you would say, because, the other teams wouldn't have all season to get a cohesive mixture. So I'd like to see them earlier in the year.
Appreciate the call there, Prater. I almost would rather go easier on this, not talking FCS, but if you could somehow, and again, you can't predict the future. You have to schedule these games way in advance. You don't know who's going to be good or who's going to be bad, Prater, in a future schedule, right?
Yeah.
So, if I say, well, I'd like to schedule a lower level Pac-12 team, I don't know who the lower level Pac-12 or Pac-10 teams would be then, and that's assuming they even want to schedule with me also. There is an element that Boise State used to have when they were winning more games than anybody in the country. They were never winning the strength of schedule argument. And I get it. That was the one that was the one tough guy you could bring to a Boise State party. You don't play anybody. Sorry, little man. Yes, you had one non-con win on Labor Day. But since then, man, you can't even spell ranked opponent. But they were undefeated like all the time. And they were in the conversation. And like Sports Illustrated is doing stuff like, do they belong? Are they legit? Are they for real? And that to me was when this program was at its apex, just being in the conversation. Any chance you go in that direction again?
No.
And schedule lighter? Prater,
no.
Lighter.
Yeah, no, I want to schedule lighter. And I've been calling for heavier all this time. For 20 years, I've been calling for heavier. 2024 changes everything, and I definitely want to schedule lighter. When I say schedule lighter, I'm basically saying added second group of 5 team. I don't want a second FCS team. As a matter of fact, I don't want an FCS team, period. And if they feel, I like to have 1 Power 5 and 3 group of 5s, if that's where they want to go. Maybe an occasional 2 Power 5s. And I certainly don't want to leave the region for a Power 5. I don't want to play the SEC. I don't want to play the Big Ten. Certainly not the top dogs of the Big Ten, unless I can get maybe a 2-for-1 here against a Michigan State or whatever. The Big 12, you can always play the Big 12. That's perfectly fine. But I think you have to schedule responsibly. Not to get the headlines and the recruits in September, but you have to schedule responsibly to get yourself into the college football playoff in December. That's the most important thing. That's where you can get the recruits. That's where you can get the attention. Yeah, if you get your butt beat by Alabama as a 12 versus 8 seed or whatever it is, well, it'd be 12 versus 7, I guess, right off the bat. So it wouldn't be terrible. And maybe Boise State would have a chance to win some of those games every now and then. But let's not forget, guys, everybody that wants to have, what you just talked about, Chris Peterson and Kellen Moore aren't walking back in this door. Chris Peterson and Kellen Moore are long gone. This football program isn't Chris Peterson and Kellen Moore anymore. It's a half of a shell of Chris Peterson and Kellen Moore. So, don't live in the past with Chris Peterson and Kellen Moore. Okay. You've got to live in the future, 2024 CFP. That's way more important.
Yeah, I find a way to get to the tournament more often than any other group of 5 program in, say, the first 10 years of this tournament. Find a way to be that team.
Yes.
We've been the group of 5 team that's been to this tournament. Let's just say, Bronco Nation, would you sign off on this right now? You'll make this tournament 4 times in the first 10 years. That's almost every graduating cycle is going to get a chance to play in this tournament. I think you would sign off on that. And I think the best way for a team like Boise State to do that, Prater, is at the end of the year for them to have a kick-ass record. And it's just right there in front of you. Oh, Boise State went 11-1. Whoa, okay. Prater, I look at this schedule with at Washington, home against Central Florida, North Dakota, at Memphis. I don't know if there's a 4-0 or 3-1 in there. Next year, I don't even like it. Next year, you don't even play an FCS. Your week game next year is at Georgia Southern. That's a Sun Belt team in Atlanta. That's your cupcake state? We got to fly to Atlanta to play the Cupcakes? What? You don't have anything better than that? And then you get at Oregon next year in Autzen. You host Oregon State. And you host Houston, who's now in the Big 12. That's 3 Power 5s on your schedule. Yeah. And that's the first year of the tournament there. If you go 1-2 in those 3 games, Prater, you have like 0 room for air the rest of the year.
I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to predict it. Jeremiah Dickey's going to get rid of one of those games.
Okay.
He's going to get rid of one of those games. And I have no idea which one. I mean, hopefully the Oregon home and home series. I mean, I know it's 2-for-1, 1 here, 2 there. I need that. I want that. Oregon State, I could care less about. Houston's always going to be fine. The Houstons and the UCFs and the Memphis. I know Houston and UCF are Big 12 now, but I have a feeling that Boise State will not be playing 3 Power 5 opponents in 2024.
One more quick call. Appreciate you holding, Mark. Welcome to Idaho Sports Talk. Mark, obviously a heated discussion here. Where are you with this thing, Mark? Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm absolutely in 100% agreement with you guys. Prater, we've got to schedule to where we can win the games. It's more important right now than ever to win the games.
Yep.
If we schedule hard games, if we schedule, like you said, in Alabama, that's just looking for trouble. And if we lose early in the league, then we're not going to have an opportunity to move forward in the playoffs.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Even schedule some cupcakes. You know what? The right thing to do right now, I think, is schedule a game that we know we can sell out in Bronco Stadium. say, I hate to say it, and I don't
Do it.
like
Do
at
it.
all,
Do it.
but
Go.
Let's do it. The Vandals.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes. I want the
Because
Vandals
you
in
know why?
2024. I want to get rid of the Oregon State.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, and
What?
I'm going to therapy right after this show. I promise you.
Exactly.
Boise State should get rid of Oregon State in 2024 and add the Idaho Vandals.
I agree. Absolutely. You're 100% right.
That's
Because
all.
we need to sell out Bronco Stadium way more, and we need to blow out some of these teams. Just like Alabama blows out everybody, we can do it too.
Can't they cancel at Georgia Southern and do the Vandals instead of that game
That's
and
a
bring
road
it
game.
home?
That's a road game.
Yeah. Can't you do that?
You have to schedule. You have to cancel. You can do a lot of different
You can
things.
cancel a road game and then schedule a home game. I mean, you want to take a Pac-12 team on the blue off this schedule. Michael, Forrest, Prater.
I do. I want to put the Vandals would create way more buzz than Oregon State Beavers. I promise you that. So yeah, I want to
more
one-off.
folks in the stadium for Idaho than Oregon State.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolute sellout. Absolute sellout. I mean, it makes sense for all the right reasons in 2024. Now, the problem is the Oregon State game. I believe that's a return game.
It is.
No.
That's returned from last year, right?
No.
I don't see him on the schedule.
Yeah, it is a return. It is a return. So there's going to be a financial penalty there. So you're going to have to figure that part out. And Boise State can't afford to do that. So, we might not be talking reality here. More scheduling philosophy moving forward. Definitely, in 2025, they're playing Eastern Washington here. There's a couple of is that the last? That's the last FCS opponent I see on the schedule moving forward.
Yeah, 2025.
In 2025, so
they could conceivably do Idaho every year, Idaho State every year, trade off those teams if they wanted to.
Yeah,
I'll see if they do though.
I don't know if I want them every year, but once every 5 years maybe.
I don't want to go to Georgia Southern to play a lollygagger. That's where I do not understand this. Does Georgia Southern come here in 2028? They do. Like, why do you need a home and home with Georgia Southern?
Agreed.
I don't get this. East Carolina. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. Who wants season tickets to the Boise State football program? Let's get our contestant and come back with touchdowns for tickets. 208-424-9300. We need caller number 9. If you want to come play touchdowns for tickets, we're coming right back with it. JP, get us that caller number 9. See if we can get the future Boise State season ticket holder on our program. We come back. Prater on the Ballgame.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.
Still have a whole bunch of traffic on the connector. It starts before you get to Emerald, very slow through the merge.